The Arrogant Alien Challenge. Colonel Ethan Blake stood on the bridge of the UES Resolute, eyes locked on the viewscreen displaying the imposing fleet of Zarnax warships. The Zarnax, a race known for their arrogance and belief in their superiority, had issued a challenge to humanity. Their leader, Supreme Commander Zorth, had broadcasted a message throughout the galaxy, belittling humans and daring them to face the might of the Zarnax Empire. The humans have always been a minor species, insignificant in the grand scheme of the galaxy. We challenge you, humans, to prove your worth. Face us in battle, and we shall see who the true rulers of the stars are. Zoreth's voice boomed over the comms, filled with contempt. Ethan's jaw tightened. The challenge was more than a test of military might. It was a test of humanity's resilience and determination. He knew that accepting this challenge was the only way to preserve humanity's dignity and future among the stars. "Commander, our fleet is ready," Lieutenant Sarah Torres reported, her voice steady despite the tension in the air. "Good. Prepare to engage," Ethan replied, his eyes never leaving the viewscreen. "Let's show them what humanity is capable of." As the Resolute and its accompanying fleet moved into position, Ethan's mind raced with strategies. The Zarnax were technologically advanced, but humanity had something they didn't: ingenuity and an unbreakable spirit. He had studied the Zarnax tactics extensively and knew their weaknesses. "Remember, they underestimate us," Ethan said to his crew. "Use that to our advantage. Strike hard. Strike fast." The Zarnax fleet opened fire first, their weapons lighting up the darkness of space. The Resolute's shields flared, absorbing the initial barrage. Ethan's fleet returned fire, their coordinated attack catching the Zarnax off guard. "Target their flagship," Ethan ordered, his voice calm but firm. "We need to cut off the head of the snake." The battle raged on, with both sides exchanging devastating blows. Despite being outnumbered, Ethan's fleet held its ground, their resilience and strategic ingenuity turning the tide. The Resolute's weapons systems focused on the Zarnax flagship, delivering a series of crippling blows. Supreme Commander Zorth, watching the battle from his command center, felt the sting of desperation. He had not expected the humans to fight with such tenacity. His ship shuddered as another barrage from the Resolute hit its mark. "Impossible," Zorth muttered, his confidence waning. "How can these humans stand against us?" Ethan seized the moment, ordering a full-scale assault on the flagship. The Resolute's advanced weaponry tore through the Zarnax defenses, finally breaching their hull. Zoreth's command center exploded in a shower of sparks and debris, silencing his arrogance forever. As the Zarnax fleet began to retreat, their morale shattered. Ethan allowed himself a moment of relief. The challenge had been met, and humanity had proven its worth. The bridge of the Resolute erupted in cheers, the crew celebrating their hard-fought victory. "Well done, everyone," Ethan said, his voice filled with pride. "We showed them what it means to be human." But Ethan knew this was just the beginning. The galaxy was watching, and humanity's journey was far from over. The challenge had been a reminder that they could never afford to be complacent. They had to remain vigilant, ready to face whatever came next. The aftermath and new alliances. The victory over the Zarnax had spread throughout the galaxy, a beacon of human resilience and strength. The news had reached far and wide, and now other races, once skeptical or indifferent, began to see humanity in a new light. In the days following the battle, Ethan and his crew worked tirelessly to repair the Resolute and assist the injured. The ship's medbay was a flurry of activity, with medics and engineers working side by side to ensure everyone was cared for. "Colonel, we have incoming transmissions from several alien delegations," Lieutenant Torres reported, a note of excitement in her voice. "They want to discuss potential alliances." Ethan nodded, a thoughtful expression on his face. "Set up a secure channel. Let's hear what they have to say." The view screen flickered to life, displaying the faces of various alien leaders. Among them were representatives from the peaceful Elvari. the technologically advanced Turin, and the warrior-like Drakari. Each of them spoke with respect, their previous skepticism replaced by genuine interest. Colonel Blake, your victory against the Zarnax has shown us that humanity is a force to be reckoned with, said High Counselor Elindra of the Elveri, her voice melodious and sincere. We would like to propose a mutual defense pact to stand together against any future threats. Ethan listened carefully, considering the implications. Forming alliances would strengthen humanity's position in the galaxy, but it would also require careful diplomacy and mutual trust. He glanced at his crew, seeing their determination mirrored in their eyes. We appreciate your offer, High Counselor, Ethan replied. Humanity seeks peace and cooperation. We believe that by working together, we can ensure a brighter future for all our peoples. The discussions continued for hours, with each delegation outlining their terms and conditions. Ethan's strategic mind worked through the details, ensuring that humanity's interests were protected while fostering a spirit of collaboration. As the talks progressed, Ethan realized that this was more than just forming alliances. It was about building bridges and understanding between different species. The galaxy was vast and diverse, and only by embracing that diversity could they hope to thrive. Colonel Blake, rumbled War Chief Drakar of the Drakari, his voice like thunder. We respect strength and honor. Your people have both. We are ready to stand with you in battle, should the need arise. Ethan met Drakar's fierce gaze with unwavering resolve. And we will stand with you, War Chief. Together, we are stronger. The formal agreements were signed, and the new alliances were born. The once isolated humanity now had allies across the stars, each bringing their unique strengths to the table. The Elveri offered their knowledge of diplomacy and environmental harmony, the Tyrans shared their technological advancements, and the Drakari provided their unmatched warrior prowess. As the delegations departed, Ethan stood on the bridge, looking out at the stars. The galaxy felt a little less vast, a little less daunting. They had friends now, allies who believed in the same ideals of peace and cooperation. Lieutenant Torres, ensure that our new allies have all the information they need. We must show them that we are committed to this partnership, Ethan ordered. Aye, Colonel, Torres replied, already moving to carry out his instructions. Ethan took a deep breath, feeling the weight of responsibility settle on his shoulders. The battle with the Zarnax had been just the beginning. Now they had to build on this victory, forging a future where all species could coexist and prosper. The journey ahead would be challenging, but Ethan knew that humanity was ready. They had faced the darkness and emerged victorious. Now, it was time to lead the way into a new era of unity and hope. Facing new threats, months passed, and the alliances between humanity and their new allies grew stronger. Joint training exercises, technological exchanges, and cultural events became common. The galaxy seemed to be heading toward a new era of cooperation and peace. However, the tranquility was not destined to last. Ethan was in a meeting with representatives from the Elvari, Turin, and Drakari when the alarms blared. The view screen switched to a live feed from the edge of human space, showing a massive fleet of unknown ships moving in formation. The ships were sleek, black, and ominously silent. Colonel Blake, we have incoming transmissions from the unknown fleet, Lieutenant Torres reported, her voice tight with tension. They're demanding our immediate surrender. Ethan's eyes narrowed as he studied the enemy ships. They were unlike anything he had seen before. Put them through, he ordered. The view screen flickered, revealing a figure cloaked in darkness. Its voice was cold and emotionless. We are the Nixar. Surrender now, and your lives will be spared. Resist, and you will be annihilated. Ethan's jaw tightened. He could feel the weight of the situation bearing down on him. The Nixar were clearly powerful, and their intent was clear. They sought to dominate or destroy. He glanced at the allied representatives, each of them showing resolve and readiness to fight. We do not surrender, Ethan replied firmly. If you seek a fight, you will find us ready. The transmission cut off abruptly, and the Nixer fleet began to advance. Ethan turned to his crew, his mind racing with strategies. Prepare for battle. Alert all Allied forces. We face a new enemy today, but we face them together. The Resolute and its allies moved into position, forming a defensive line. The combined fleet of humans, Elvari, Terran, and Drakari, was impressive, a testament to their unity and strength. But the Nixar were an unknown quantity, and their sheer numbers were daunting. As the first wave of Nixar ships approached, the Allied fleet opened fire. Beams of energy and missile volleys lit up the darkness of space. The Nixar returned fire with devastating precision, their weapons cutting through shields and hulls with ease. Focus fire on their lead ships, Ethan commanded. We need to disrupt their formation. The battle raged on, the void of space filled with the flashes of explosions and the debris of destroyed ships. The Nixar were relentless, their ships moving with an almost eerie coordination. Despite their best efforts, the Allied fleet was being pushed back, their losses mounting. Ethan's mind raced. They needed an edge, something to turn the tide. Lieutenant Torres, scan for any weaknesses in their formation. We need to find a way to break their coordination. Torres's fingers flew over the controls, her eyes narrowing as she analyzed the data. Colonel, there's a pattern in their movements. It looks like they're following the central command ship. If we can take it out, we might be able to disrupt their entire fleet. Ethan nodded, a plan forming in his mind. Relay the coordinates to all ships. Focus all fire on that command ship. It's our only chance. The Allied fleet redirected their attacks, concentrating their firepower on the Nixar command ship. The ship's shields flared under the onslaught, but the coordinated assault began to take its toll. Explosions rippled across its surface as the Allied weapons found their mark. With a final devastating barrage, the command ship erupted in a massive explosion, sending shockwaves through the Nixar fleet. The remaining Nixar ships faltered, their coordination shattered. The Allied fleet pressed their advantage, launching a counterattack that drove the Nixar back. As the last of the Nixar ships retreated, a cheer erupted across the Allied fleet. They had faced a powerful new enemy and emerged victorious. But the cost had been high, and the threat of the Nixar still loomed. Ethan stood on the bridge, looking out at the wreckage of the battlefield. The Nixar had been a formidable foe, and he knew they would return. But humanity and their allies had proven their strength and unity once again. Begin recovery operations, Ethan ordered. We need to regroup and prepare for whatever comes next. As the crew set to work, Ethan felt a sense of determination settle over him. The Nixar had been a wake-up call, a reminder that the galaxy was still a dangerous place. But with their allies by their side, humanity was ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. Strengthening the alliance. In the aftermath of the battle with the Nixar, the Allied fleet returned to Unity Base, a newly established station where humans and their allies could collaborate more closely. The base was a hive of activity, with ships docking, supplies being unloaded, and engineers working tirelessly to repair and upgrade the fleet. Ethan stood in the central command room, surrounded by representatives from the Elvari, Terran, and Drakari. The room was filled with a palpable sense of urgency and determination. They had faced a new enemy and survived, but they all knew that the Nixar would return, likely stronger and more prepared. We need to strengthen our defenses and improve our coordination, Ethan began, addressing the gathered leaders. The Nixar caught us off guard, but we won't let that happen again. High Counselor Elindra of the Elvari nodded in agreement. We must also enhance our communication networks. Real-time data sharing will be crucial in any future engagements. War Chief Drakar of the Drakari grunted his approval. Our warriors are ready to train with your soldiers, Colonel Blake. Together, we will forge an unbreakable fighting force. The discussions continued, with each representative offering their insights and expertise. Plans were drawn up for joint training exercises, technological exchanges, and shared defense strategies. The unity they had shown in battle was now being formalized into a comprehensive alliance. As the meeting progressed, Ethan felt a growing sense of camaraderie. These were no longer just allies of convenience. They were partners in a shared mission to protect their people and ensure a future free from the threat of the Nixar. Later that day, Ethan walked through the bustling corridors of Unity Base. The station was a marvel of engineering, a blend of human and alien technologies. Everywhere he looked, he saw humans working alongside Elveri scientists, Terran engineers, and Drakari warriors. It was a living testament to what they could achieve together. The Nixar return. The peace and preparation continued for several months. Unity Base became a hub of activity, a beacon of cooperation and progress in the galaxy. Joint missions, research projects, and cultural exchanges flourished, strengthening the bonds between the allied species. However, the tranquility was shattered one day when the alarms blared across Unity Base. Ethan, who was in a meeting with Drakkar and Vorik, immediately sprang into action. "Report," he barked, rushing to the nearest console. "Colonel, the Nixar fleet has been detected at the edge of our space," Lieutenant Torres reported, her voice urgent. "They're moving in fast, and their numbers are even greater than before." Ethan's heart pounded in his chest. The Nixar had returned, and they were bringing their full might to bear. "Alert all Allied forces. Prepare for immediate deployment." The command center buzzed with activity as messages were sent and received. Ships were prepped for launch, soldiers donned their gear, and engineers worked feverishly to ensure that every system was operational. Within hours, the Allied fleet was mobilized and ready. The Resolute, now upgraded with the latest technology from their allies, led the charge. Ethan stood on the bridge, his expression grim but determined. "All ships, this is Colonel Blake," he said over the comms. "The Nixar have returned, and they are stronger than before. But so are we. We've trained for this, we've prepared for this. Together, we will stand and fight. Together, we will protect our homes and our future." The fleet moved out, a unified force ready to face the impending threat. As they approached the Nixar, the tension was palpable. The enemy ships loomed large on the view screen, a dark and menacing presence. "Lieutenant Torres, initiate the battle plan," Ethan ordered. "Target their command ships first. We need to disrupt their coordination." The battle erupted with a ferocity that shook the very fabric of space. The Allied fleet struck hard and fast, their coordinated attacks catching the Nixar off guard. The new defensive systems and weapons proved their worth, repelling the Nixar's initial onslaught. "Commander, their formations are breaking," Torres reported, a note of triumph in her voice. "We're pushing them back." But the Nixar were relentless. They regrouped and launched a counterattack, their advanced weaponry wreaking havoc on the Allied fleet. Ships were damaged, and casualties mounted. The situation grew dire as the Nixar pressed their advantage. Ethan knew they needed to turn the tide, and quickly. "Focus all fire on their flagship," he commanded. "We need to take it out now." The Allied ships converged on the Nixar flagship, unleashing a barrage of firepower. The flagship's shields flared, struggling to withstand the assault. Finally, with a tremendous explosion, the flagship was destroyed. A ripple of relief and triumph spread through the Allied fleet. The Nixar, now leaderless and disoriented, began to falter. The Allies pressed their advantage, driving the Nixar back and forcing them into retreat. As the last of the Nixar ships fled, a cheer erupted across the fleet. They had faced the darkness once more and emerged victorious. But Ethan knew this was not the end. The Nixar would regroup and return, and they had to be ready. "Begin recovery and repair operations," Ethan ordered. "We need to regroup and prepare for the next battle. This isn't over." Back on Unity Base, the mood was a mix of relief and somber reflection. They had won the battle, but the war was far from over. Ethan met with Elindra, Drakkar, and Vorik to discuss their next steps. "We fought well today," Elindra said, her voice steady. "But the Nixar will come back, and we need to be ready. Drakkar nodded, his expression fierce. Our warriors are ready to fight again, Colonel. We will not let them take our homes. Ethan looked at his allies, feeling a renewed sense of determination. We've proven that we can stand against the Nixer. Now, we need to strengthen our defenses even further and prepare for the battles to come. Together, we will protect our future. The final stand. The months following the second Nixer attack were filled with relentless preparation. Unity Base became a fortress, with advanced defenses and weapons systems integrated into its structure. The Allied fleet continued to train, honing their skills and strategies for the inevitable return of the Nixer. Ethan and his team worked tirelessly, coordinating efforts and ensuring that every aspect of their defenses was ready. They knew that the next battle would be the ultimate test of their alliance and their resolve. One day, as Ethan was reviewing tactical reports, the alarms blared once more. Colonel, the Nixer fleet has been detected. Torres reported, her voice urgent. They're heading straight for Unity Base. Ethan felt a surge of adrenaline. This was it, the final confrontation. Alert all forces. Prepare for immediate engagement. The Allied fleet mobilized quickly, taking up defensive positions around Unity Base. The Nixer ships appeared on the view screen, their numbers even greater than before. This time, they were not holding back. All ships, this is Colonel Blake, Ethan said over the comms. The Nixer are coming with everything they have. But we are ready. We will fight with everything we've got. For our homes, for our future. Let's show them what we're made of. The battle began with a thunderous clash. The Allied fleet and Unity Base's defenses opened fire, creating a wall of destruction that met the Nixer head-on. The void of space was filled with explosions and the glow of energy weapons. Ethan's mind raced as he coordinated the defense. Focus on their flanking ships. We need to break their formation. The Allied forces responded with precision, targeting the Nixer ships and causing chaos in their ranks. But the Nixer were relentless, pushing forward with overwhelming force. The battle was fierce and brutal, with losses mounting on both sides. As the fight raged on, Ethan noticed something strange. The Nixer ships were converging on a specific point near Unity Base. Lieutenant Torres scanned that area. What are they targeting? A new dawn. The victory over the Nixer marked a turning point in the galaxy. The news spread quickly, reaching every corner of known space. The once feared Nixer were defeated, and the alliance between humans and their allies had proven its strength. Unity Base became a symbol of hope and cooperation. Representatives from countless species visited, seeking to join the alliance and work together for a brighter future. The bonds forged in battle grew stronger, and new friendships were formed. Ethan stood in the main hall of Unity Base, watching as leaders from different worlds mingled and discussed their shared goals. It was a far cry from the isolation and mistrust that had once defined their interactions. High Counselor Elindra approached him, a warm smile on her face. Colonel Blake, you have achieved something remarkable. The galaxy owes you a great debt. Ethan shook his head, humility in his eyes. It wasn't just me, Counselor. It was all of us working together. That's what made this possible. War Chief Drakkar joined them, his booming laughter filling the hall. You have the heart of a warrior, Ethan, and the wisdom of a leader. Our alliance is stronger than ever. Chief Engineer Vorik nodded in agreement. The technological advancements we've made together will benefit all our peoples. This is just the beginning. As they spoke, a young human cadet approached, saluting smartly. Colonel Blake, a message from Earth. The President wishes to speak with you. Ethan nodded, excusing himself from his companions. He made his way to the communication center, where the holographic image of the President appeared. Colonel Blake, the President said, her voice filled with gratitude. Congratulations on your victory. You and your team have done humanity proud. Thank you, Madam President, Ethan replied. But this victory belongs to all of us, humans, and our allies. Together, we have shown what we can achieve. The president smiled. Indeed, the galaxy is watching, and they see the strength of our unity. We had a long road ahead, but I have no doubt that we will face it with courage and determination. As the communication ended, Ethan felt a deep sense of fulfillment. They had faced the darkness and had not only survived, but had thrived. The future was bright, filled with endless possibilities. Ethan returned to the main hall, where the celebrations were in full swing. Music played, and people from different worlds danced and laughed together. It was a moment of pure joy and unity. Lieutenant Torres approached, a glass in her hand. "To victory," she said, raising her glass, "and to the future." Ethan raised his glass in return. "To victory, and to the bonds that have made it possible." As they drank, Ethan looked around at the diverse group of beings who had come together to face a common threat. They had proven that by working together, they could overcome any challenge. The celebrations continued late into the night, with stories of bravery and camaraderie shared by all. Unity Base was alive with the spirit of cooperation and hope. Ethan stood on the observation deck, looking out at the stars. The galaxy was vast and filled with unknowns, but he knew that they were ready to face whatever came next. With their allies by their side, humanity was stronger than ever. As the first light of dawn began to creep over Unity Base, Ethan felt a sense of peace. The darkness had been pushed back, and a new era was beginning. An era of unity, strength, and endless possibilities. Humanity and its allies had proven their worth. They had faced the challenges of the galaxy and had emerged victorious. And together, they would continue to explore, to learn, and to build a future filled with hope.